the fuck gives a shit about the intro? Juan Soto's a Yankee!
I really hope that's not, like, killing people's ears. But welcome back to the Triboro Podcast. Juan Soto is a Yankee. You want to just get right into it?
Yeah, what is this, the 23rd episode?
23rd episode.
Yeah, 23rd episode. I'm Justin, he's Nick. We're doing good.
To Bronx!
Now entering the Bronx.
Maybe we'll actually have a normal intro. Hello,
guess.
everyone. Welcome to Bronx. If you guys did not know, Juan Soto is a New York Yankee.
He is.
It is official after days of everyone pretty much knowing it was gonna happen. It is officially official.
Yeah.
Finally, officially official.
Yeah, basically.
So pretty much they gave up, or just the entire package was Juan Soto, Trent Grisham from Michael King, Drew Thorpe, the number 5 prospect, Joni Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Kyle Gashioka. I don't think that's that big of a thing. Michael King, that sucks to lose. I don't think that's that big of a package. What do you think?
I think the Padres could have done a lot better. I don't want to say it's a fleece, because that's obviously an overreaction. But I don't think the Yankees really gave up much.
I think King was a good bit, but
Even then.
only because and I agree with Jack Curry says that he thinks that Michael King has the second best stuff on the team.
Yeah.
I'd agree. I think he was slotted to have a very good season, so that kind of does suck.
Right.
But it's you do this deal 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like
I just think Padres could have done much.
I think it was more the
much
money.
better.
That's what it was. That the money.
What, getting Soto off the books? Yeah.
That's definitely why it
definitely.
wasn't that much.
Definitely, but it's,
Soto's slated to make about 33?
yeah.
About $33 million in arbitration. That's why.
Yeah.
And just for like the other people in the prospect, Drew Thorpe, I've talked to you about this. I was never that high on him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and I know velo isn't everything.
Yep.
But he only throws about 92 to 94. The Yankees have a tendency of having a lot of these pitching prospects that rise up through, and everyone thinks they're going to be the second coming. They don't turn out to be anything.
Right.
That's why they traded away Waldichuk. They traded away Wineski 2 years ago. Those look like granted, the deals weren't that good, but they don't look like anything special.
Right.
So it's one of those things of, like, I feel like he was just kind of next in line in that position to be traded away.
Right.
So I'm really not high upside guy. I'm not saying
Definitely.
he's going to be a bum or whatever, but I have no issue trading him away for this.
He was minor league pitcher of the year, so there's it's not that he's not going to be anything, but probably not.
Chance Adams was also minor league pitcher of the year.
Right. So.
And do you know who that is?
Yes, I've heard the name once, but.
And you were a baseball nerd, so that just goes to show. And he was also like recent, like 2018, 2019, when he was a person. Yeah, Joni Brito and Randy Vasquez, they were good depth. Like, they were pretty solid depth.
Fine.
It's cheap, controllable pitching.
Right.
That's what the Padres are getting. That's what they need.
Right.
Then Kyle Gashioka.
Backup catcher.
He was in the organization for 15 years.
Right.
You're gonna miss a guy. You're gonna miss a guy like that on a personal level.
You're gonna miss the person.
Yes.
You can do without.
But he was the
player.
third string catcher.
Right.
And I don't think Rortved's that good, but it's not like there's that big of a dip in defense. If anything, Rortved's a better defender.
Right.
And the bat's like not that big. So it's like you really aren't. That was just a throw.
Right. It is
they
what
need
it
a backup
is.
catcher.
Yeah.
Which is more a testament to the Yankees' catcher depth than anything else.
Right.
To have him as your third catcher, like a lot of teams would be begging for him as a backup catcher.
Right. How many catchers do they have on their 40-man? Like,
now it's down to 5. It was at 6.
Right. Still, 5 is still a lot.
Yeah, that's just a testament to their depth. Did you see what Michael King said?
No.
He said, for being traded, he said, if you get traded for a future Hall of Famer and you're the centerpiece, there's no greater compliment.
Fair enough.
I love
That's
Michael
a great
King.
mindset.
I love Michael King as a person. I think he's going to do very well in San Diego.
rooting for him. Yeah. Man, I just feel like, I don't want to say it was nothing, but just
It was
nothing
something.
jumps out at me. Even Michael King, personally, 2 years of control, elbow issues in the past, has never
I'd say
had.
1 year, but
Still, elbow issues are elbow issues. It's not something you could just write off, in my opinion.
I'm not saying you can't vote.
But 2 years of control, and he's never had a full season as a starter. So it's like, you're going to have maybe, like, next year, this year, he's going to be more in that transitional year into a starter, like what Seth Lugo did, what Michael Lorenzen did, like that kind of
That being said, I think he's better.
procedure. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Nothing jumps out at me. I think the Padres could have done a lot better. But, again, like you said, it's a deal the Yankees make 10 out of 10 times.
Something to note, too, I think it was in the 10 starts he had like a sub-2 ERA.
Right.
So just...
Yeah, no, the upside's there.
Upside is definitely there. He's absolutely disgusting. Definitely going to suck to miss him.
Yeah.
But this trade literally makes... The Yankees had the worst production from lefties in 2023. And they have the second worst by left fielders. You now have the best outfield in baseball. Or arguably the best outfield in baseball.
One of.
If not, who would you say is better?
No idea. Couldn't
No
tell you
idea?
off the top of my head.
And then I'll just mention it. I'm not going to go in depth on it, but I'm going to mention it. The Yankees also did trade for Alex Verdugo. Was not Glaber. Not Glaber. They traded away 3 pitchers, Richard Fitz, a number 12 prospect, Greg Weiser, who's been like a swingman that's kind of been on that bus from AAA to the majors.
Yeah.
The DFA special.
Right.
And then Nicholas Judas, who I'm pretty sure he hasn't made his professional debut yet.
I think he had like 2 starts.
Or 2 starts.
Maybe.
6'8", throws 97
recent
to 100.
draft pick.
He's
so.
just a guy that has a lot of upside.
Yeah.
You didn't give up much.
No.
Granted, it's a
not at all.
1-year rental on Verdugo, so you didn't really have to give up much. But you didn't really give up much.
No. And, Verdugo's solid. He's league average.
I'll get into that later, but
okay.
yeah.
But, yeah.
I think his impact will be better than the league average. Not necessarily like the numbers, but I think his impact will be better than the league average, but I'll get into that once we're done with Soto. Man, his numbers they're silly.
Very good.
They are just... Let me get Baseball Savant back up.
Lots of red.
Yes, it is.
He has 1 blue circle.
And that's
an ocean of red.
Yeah, let me... Why did I... Because I was, like, doing Grisham and Verdugo as well, so I closed out on Soto.
Right.
Every number is red. Like, this man is... Except for sweet spot percentage. But, like, when you have everything else, it's like... And let me... The thing that I told you before we started the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, for percentage-wise, so it would be like percentile, we're obviously 100, the best, 1, worst. Since he came into the league in 2018, his walk percentile, 98, 98, 100, 100, 100, 100.
So what, that's 4 years
4
in a row?
years he has the best walk percentage in baseball.
Right.
And the other 2, 98th percentile.
Ooh.
Whoa.
When he was 21.
When he was
like
when he was 19
21.
and 20.
Yeah.
So just
insane.
I think he should have won the MVP in 2021. I said it in the moment over Harper
Yeah.
too. Do you remember
I remember
saying that?
His one good defensive year, I think.
No. That's another thing I'm gonna get into.
Okay.
So I'll just talk about the bad first. Might as
Okay.
well talk about the bad before we get into the good.
Fair enough.
He's not a good defender.
No.
That's just...
God, no.
But it also doesn't make sense that he's not a good defender. So going like based off career numbers of outs above average, so is that a 10 or 18? He's in the 10th percentile his rookie year, then the 91st percentile,
Mm-hmm.
then the 12th, then the 88th, then 1st and then 3rd.
Right. Choose.
How do you go from being one of the worst defenders in baseball to one of the best?
Right.
And go like it just.
And then back to the worst.
But that's what I'm like. Is there potential upside for his defense? I'd say.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, there has to be. When you're one of the worst,
Right.
you can only go up from there. So
right.
I don't know how to.
Were his 2 years good? Was that
2019, 2021?
Right. So he is playing Nationals Park.
Mm.
I'm not sure how the difference is between Petco and Nationals, but
I will say this: he is projected to be the right fielder. Right field is a lot easier to play than left in Yankee Stadium.
That's a good idea.
So that could
Right.
significantly boost that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are saying he's going to be a liability. I don't know yet.
He definitely has his
Moments.
Yeah.
I've seen some of
I've seen some really good catches. I've seen some really bad
drop.
Yeah,
easy fly
just
balls.
completely misread or just completely drop or trying to scoop up a ball and just like it gets caught in his
Yeah, but
glove.
didn't he throw that guy out?
Oh, probably.
There's one I'm
I don't
thinking
know.
of like that where like the guy went to second and he threw him
Yeah.
out. Because he does have a good arm. I'm pretty sure like his like baseball savant really likes his
Solid,
arm.
yeah.
Yeah, his arm value is 82nd percentile.
Right, so he has a good arm.
So, but it's also a thing of, oh no, his fielding sucks. I don't care.
His offense outweighs everything.
He is a top 3 left-handed bat in baseball. And he's the best plate discipline-wise, because not only does he have 100% percentile in walks, 75th percentile in strikeouts, and that seemed low to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how elite of a talent this guy is. Like, where's K? Yeah, the last 3 years for this year, 91, 90, 90. His worst year in 4 years, he was 74th percentile in strikeouts.
Yeah.
This is one of the best left-handed hitters in baseball.
He's one of the best players
one of the
in
best
baseball.
players in baseball. You added one of the best players in baseball to you took out your worst spot and added one of a top. I think him and Judge are two the best hitters in baseball, just straight up. I said this last week. I think him and Judge are the 2 best outfielders in baseball. I stand by that.
Probably.
Especially because
Mookie Betts is now a full-time second baseman.
Mookie Betts is going to play a lot more second base. A couple days later, Dave Roberts came out and said Mookie Betts was going to be a full-time second baseman.
Yeah, so there goes that.
I'm right. Yet again. Yet again, I'm always right.
Okay.
9-3-60, 240.
No idea what that means.
Rizzo and Judge.
Okay.
Their contracts.
Okay.
Yeah, but now diving into the numbers of Soto. Could he? Well, Evan. I'll just do our Evan. Our Evan.
Our Evan roommate.
Our roommate Evan asked like I said, like, hey, you want us to talk about anything specific on the podcast? He wanted to know, because Soto is known for being a guy that spreads the ball out through all like sides of the field. If he'll almost regrets because he'll want to get pull happy. I don't think that's the case whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think that he's one of those guys that he knows the type of hitter he is. He's not going to change the type of hitter he is.
My only...
And even with... Let me get it real quick. Sorry for cutting you off. But his home runs in the last couple of years... So, 2018, 22. He only played 100 games. 2019, 39. 2020, where he only played 47 games because of COVID. 13, 2021, 29, 2022, 29, 23, 30, 20, 35. And that's without the quote-unquote short porch.
Right. It's funny because I was looking at it because on Baseball Savant it has expected home runs. And for expected home runs, it's if that player played every single game in a single stadium.
Yeah, full 162.
So, but he would actually have less home runs if he played at Yankee Stadium.
21 less, I think.
20,
something like that.
He would have had 27 compared to
27 less,
35.
Yeah.
So.
I was looking at career.
Oh no, I was just looking for last year.
But it's also a thing of that. I think that's good to look at, but that can't be the end all be all.
No, yeah.
Because you didn't play Yankee Stadium.
Of course, yeah.
You're not hitting at Yankee Stadium, so you're not playing to the park.
Right. The only thing it takes into account is literally where the ball landed and if it would have been out at
and it
X
doesn't
stadium.
include weather. It doesn't include stuff like that.
No, it's just launch angle, hard hit, exit velocity, all that good stuff. But my only defense, I guess, critique is when Soto struggles, he pulls the ball.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, though.
Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
When he struggles, he pulls the ball. If he struggles and he leans on that short porch, that's going to change his approach.
Fair.
Because it's like a safety blanket. Like, all right, I got beat, but I hit it 20 miles an hour and it popped in the right field. So I don't think it's going to happen because I think obviously Soto is just such a great hitter.
Mhm.
He knows who he is. But if he starts to struggle and he starts to lean on that short porch, I think that's when it becomes an issue.
Mhm.
But again, I don't think it should be an issue, but it is something to kind of keep in the back of your head.
Two things to talk about. One, did you know that over the last 3 years, Yankee Stadium is the 5th most pitcher-friendly park in baseball?
Yes.
Just because the 20 mile an hour just pop it out. I just want to say it's not this like it's not like the fences are 30 feet away. I think people overhype how big of a hitter park Yankee Stadium when the numbers really say it's not. But anyways, that's a whole nother discussion. That's just something I wanted to mention.
That was the point I was making. It's an overreaction.
Yeah.
The 20 mile an yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Because that's one of the things that like people like that.
Yes.
I've been seeing so
Yes.
many people say that recently that it's
Yes.
just like no.
Yes.
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 But I think even if he does get into like a slump, starts pressing,
Mhm.
you have so many veteran guys there that can help him be like, yeah, we've played here for a couple of years. Like,
You say that as if Soto isn't a veteran.
that's not what I'm saying though.
No, I know.
I'm saying that have played at the park for a couple of
Yes.
years.
Yes.
Judge, Rizzo, DJ, like guys that have been there for a while.
Yeah.
I'll tell them like, yeah, like it may seem like you want to just pull the ball like crazy, but it's not. Don't go away from your approach.
My only thing against that is Judge is a righty. LeMahieu's a righty. The only guy you could maybe talk to is Rizzo. He's a lefty.
Still.
And even Rizzo, I feel like, uses a short porch a lot. That 3 home run game wouldn't have
They're
happened if it wasn't
they're
for a
also
short
two-
porch.
They are also two different types of players.
Right, yeah.
But it's just, I know, like, oh, righty, what? It still is a thing of they know that stadium.
Yeah.
They've had a bunch of Judges mentored, not, I don't want to say mentored,
Right.
but he's, like, been the leader on a team with a bunch of lefties throughout the years. He knows the approach.
Yeah.
And so I don't really worry about that.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like the thing, like, oh, if he's going to get worse, there's a lot of, like, there was something I was looking at. He had a 140 WRC plus at home last year,
Mhm.
170 on the road. Could that be a thing he just did not like hitting in San Diego?
Maybe.
Because I know there was like conflict between him, like Machado, Tatis.
Too many egos.
Could that been a thing of
Right, and and let me just say, it's like, oh, he struggled at home with a 140 WRC
yeah.
plus.
I'm saying compared to like
yeah, it's just funny.
that'd be second best hitter on the Yankees.
Right.
But I'm just saying, is there room for improvement there?
Maybe.
Like if he had those like biggest splits, like
Right, maybe.
But yeah, some of these, like, one of the issues the Yankees had was putting the ball in play and hitting with runners in scoring position. 149 WRC plus with bases empties, absolutely elite. 163 with men on base, 165 with men in scoring position. He gets better and rises to the occasion when the moment calls to him. That's another reason why. When he was 20 years old, he had a 923 OPS plus in the playoffs. I thought he should have won World Series MVP. Was it between Strasburg and Rendon, or I thought it was between him and Strasburg?
Even then, Strasburg is like,
I
I don't think that was a debate, but
I like Soto for it, but just because of when he had the hits he had.
I guess.
But what second World Series MVP at 20 years old when he couldn't even drink the champagne when they won the World Series.
Right.
And that's another thing. It's not like he's 25 going to turn 26 in the season. No, he turns 26 on like October, like late
Right.
October.
This is his age
early
25
November.
season.
He's going to be 25 the entire year.
Yeah.
He is the second youngest Yankee on the team, or second youngest active starter.
Yeah.
Like he's obviously like older than Peraza, but like Peraza's
Right.
not slated to be a starter. Where do you think he should bat?
Personally, I like him second.
I do not whatsoever.
I like him second.
And the numbers actually back me up. So, do you agree that some guys, like, them playing at a certain spot makes them better? Like, just the mental or, like, whatever?
Yes, but only it's because of consistency. Like, if you're
Okay.
going to bat him 2-2-2-2-2-2, you're batting 2-2-2. Like, I don't think the spot necessarily matters. It's just staying in said spot.
Okay. Well, my point of just going over the numbers,
Mhm.
last year in 39 games batting second, he had a 110 WRC plus. 112, he had a 167 when he was batting third.
Right, but I think the context also matters. Who was hitting ahead of him?
But
Who was hitting behind him?
there's also something else.
Mhm.
The reason why I didn't like it at first was because of how much better Judge is at batting second.
Okay.
Because there's been a thing throughout his career, whenever he bats third, he's not nearly as good when he bats second.
Okay.
By nearly as good, I mean a 168 while batting second, 150 to third.
Right.
But you could tell he's a lot more comfortable in the 2-hole. He is your captain. You leave him there, especially when the numbers support that he should be second and Soto should be third.
I still think context matters. Because
Yes,
it's different of Soto hitting ahead of you than who was hitting ahead of him.
But I also think of something like this. I would much rather teams be forced to pitch to Judge.
Yeah, I mean,
Judge is a better hitter, so I'd much rather them being forced to pitch to Judge. I think that's more what it is for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's choose your poison. I mean, yeah.
Because, that's the way that I see it. It's like Soto takes his walks.
Mhm.
Obviously, Judge takes his walks. But Soto's known for just that otherworldly play discipline. So they're just not going to, he's going to take his walks anywhere he is, Judges too, but I would much rather Judge them being forced to pitch to Judge. Because also, I did, a mock lineup. I think the best lineup is, or just, kind of something I threw away, just, based off thinking about it. Volpe, Judge, Soto, DJ, Rizzo, Stanton, Glaber, Wells, Grisham. That should be... Oh, wait, no. Swap out Verdugo for Grisham. That should be your everyday lineup versus righties.
I think Glaber's too low.
But it's where else would you put him?
Over Stanton.
Okay, one spot. Whatever. I was in between those two.
Yeah, I would rather him... I would rather Glaber hit close, 1 through 4, somewhere in there.
DJ with runners in scoring position his entire career has been absolute money. I want him knocking in the runs.
Yeah, I can't bet on DJ.
No, if DJ's healthy, he's 4. If he's healthy, he's playing how he has, he's going to be 4. If
That's
not,
fair.
I'm completely fine with Glaber batting 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I'm just saying, when DJ's on, you want him as your 4. You either want him as leadoff or 4, but I like Volpe so much more at leadoff, just because, what you saw early in the year when he was, on base and he was, dancing around and that forced pitchers to, throw meatballs to Judge.
Yeah.
That's why I like this so much better. And literally just adding Soto makes this lineup... It just makes it look so much better.
Yeah.
Makes it feel so much better.
I still think there's question marks, though.
100%.
Yeah.
100% there are.
Yeah.
Volpe's a question mark. Wells is a question mark.
Stan,
but I think that...
DJ.
Oh, I should mention that thing
I don't
about
say
Stan.
Rizzo, but...
I should mention that about Stan. Boone did say that he did lose weight.
Yeah, that's good.
To make him more nimble, which is something I've been... I said yoga, but this is the
Yeah.
same shit. Because
Yeah.
my whole point was just to get him...
Stop being so beefy.
Unwind.
Yeah.
Not being as tight. So this same thing, just different way.
Right.
Rizzo, I think they said that he's fine.
Yeah.
That if they were in the playoff push, late in the season, he would have come back.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be fine.
So do I. I'm going to chalk all the struggles up to the concussion.
Especially
obviously, when he was concussed,
Especially when you look, he was, an absolutely elite first baseman.
Right.
And then he literally went to one of the worst hitters in baseball.
Right.
There's a direct correlation to when it happened.
Yeah.
And just knowing how, you thought you may have had a concussion when you banged your head. And how much did that affect you?
When did I bang my head?
Or when you...
I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Yes, yes. But, yeah.
So it's just, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Contract year and...
Yeah.
Because they have a buyout. But
right.
Contract year, I think he'll be fine.
Probably.
Stanton, who knows? I think this is
Right.
make or break for him at this point for the Yankees. Glaber, contract year.
Yeah. Glaber will be fine.
DJ is a big question mark, but I think the biggest X factor in this lineup is Stanton.
Yeah,
if you
definitely.
could have Judge, Soto, Stanton, all on the top of their game, I can't think of a better 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Maybe,
you could say
Braves.
You could say the Braves, but I just think that you have 2... You think that Acuna is better than Soto. I think so is better than Acuna. I said that before.
I think Acuna is the better overall player.
Okay.
Soto's the better hitter.
Okay. So yeah, I just don't... see how that would be. But if Stanton is Stanton.
Well, I think right now, I think their Braves 2, 3, 4 is Ozzy. I might be
For
wrong.
argument's sake, let's put Acuna too.
He's not hitting 2.
He's
though.
not going, but I'm saying like the three
Okay,
best
say it's Acuna, Olsen,
Riley.
I don't think you can go wrong.
You cannot go wrong with
yeah,
either.
but I don't know. I just haven't seen a good Stan in so long that I'm not gonna say he's gonna be MVP Stan.
I'm not saying
So
that
like,
either.
I don't know what to expect.
But I think if he plays 120, 130 games, he's gonna give you at least 30 home runs.
Right.
If he does that.
Yeah.
If he could just find consistency in those games, and they find some way to work load management, whatever.
Yeah.
And we're not even mentioning that Dominguez is gonna come back.
Right.
I don't think that Tommy John is going to be that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it with hitters that it rarely affects them. Like in the field, sure, like they'll DH a lot more. They won't be like, they probably won't like be as aggressive to throw someone out or like something like that. But as a hitter, I don't think that's going to affect.
Yeah.
So if you could then make it Dominguez, Judge, Soto, or like put Dominguez at 4.
Yeah.
That's
Very good.
Absurd.
It's pretty good.
That's just, yeah.
Yeah, you're a happy camper.
I don't want to take up too much time on Soto, obviously, because like we can literally just talk about how great this guy is for hours.
Right.
Do you have anything else you want to say about him?
Lucky bastards. That's it.
That's
all I got.
Okay, so I am going to talk about the other people that were involved. Trent Grisham and Alex Verdugo. So, Alex Verdugo and Trent Grisham, I think, is weirdly a perfect platoon. Because, do you know about this?
Yep.
Their splits?
Yep.
So, Trent Grisham has reverse splits. Alex Verdugo has normal splits. Pretty much means that Trent Grisham hits better against lefties, even though he's a lefty. And if you look at it in 2023, Grisham had a 124 WRC plus against lefties, 79 versus righties. Verdugo was 109 versus righties, 67 versus lefties. Perfect platoon right there.
Yeah, how about that?
They're both cheap. They're not star players. That's not what you
No.
weren't going for star players. You were going for
This is depth.
Depth pieces that you could hit pretty. That would be in the lineup regularly, but they're not going to kill you.
No.
Alex Verdugo, big contact guy. Let me get to the point right here. Career 281 hitter, 88th percentile in strikeouts. That's kind of like that type of guy. He has like the chip on his shoulder. I will say he has had a lot of issues with the Dodgers and the Red Sox.
Yeah. His clubhouse issues are definitely something that you have to keep in mind, especially I think his work ethic is a little bit questionable, but obviously when you have guys like Judge and probably Stanton, Rizzo talking to you, hopefully
Cole. I know
even
he's
Cole,
a pitcher, but
still, yeah. Hopefully that can help some maturity issues if they still remain.
And even for him, contract year.
Right.
So that's like a more extra motivation for him. I could see it being a chip on his shoulder. Like, really? I was on the Red Sox and you guys traded me to the Yankees? Are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah.
But it's also a thing of worst case scenario. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Just DFA him. Or trade him for a bag of chips. Because realistically, you didn't give up much for him.
Yeah.
He's a career 105 OPS hitter, so he's league average.
Fine, yeah.
Or a little above average for the last couple of years.
The last 2 years, he's been basically average.
Yeah. He does spray the ball across the field. 34% pull, 40% center, 26% oppo. That's because league average for pulling was, I have it right here because I'm going to talk about that soon, 37%. There's one thing that really does concern me, though. The doubles.
Okay.
I don't know how good of a hitter he's going to be without the Green Monster.
Mm.
Because that was one of his things, that like going oppo against the Monster for doubles.
Right.
He had, in the last 3 years, 32 doubles, 39 doubles, 37 doubles.
Mm. Yeah.
I think out of everything, that's the part that concerns me the most.
Right. And that left field at Yankee Stadium is
deep. Right.
Not rewarding.
Wait, am I dumb?
Left field?
Left field, yeah, so you're
Left
right.
field,
right. I just zoned out for a second.
But yeah, it's definitely unrewarding for left-handed
especially
hitters
with
to
hitting
go
40%
oppo.
to center.
Right.
Too.
So
So that is the part that concerns me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
Definitely.
Considering that he's not going to be that guy. He's going to be batting back of your lineup. He's going to be more a contact bat.
Right.
So I don't really...
Yeah.
It's not going to be that big of a deal. Trent Grisham excites me.
Interesting.
A lot more than I thought he would.
Interesting. I thought you didn't want him.
I didn't, but like looking into the numbers, some of his stuff actually... In 2023, he pulled the ball 41.7% of the time.
Jesus Christ.
4.7% higher than league average.
Mm-hmm.
I think the short porch can like significantly
help him out
with that. And he's not a good. He's at best a league average hitter. Over the last 2 years, I put 3 numbers, Justin. Why'd you put 3 numbers? I probably meant over the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
95 OPS plus, 81, 87.
Yeah.
Little below average, but he is an elite defender.
Yep.
So
he's your fourth outfielder.
He's your fourth outfielder.
Yeah.
To put in perspective, 92nd percentile and outs above average, that's the lowest in his career. Absurd defender.
Yep.
Phenomenal defender.
Yeah.
Absolutely elite.
It's never in question.
I think that like the short porch could help him out, especially if he's only playing against lefties. I think
Definitely.
he could be a guy that he may give you some sneaky pop.
I agree. I think that's exactly what you're looking for Grisham. Just some pop off the bench, defensive replacement. You know, he'll start a couple games here or there, especially since
the lefty-righty splits.
Not even that, but since you're gonna want to give Judge a break from center field, I don't know if you were gonna mention it later.
I forgot to say that, but yeah.
But with Soto and Verdugo, Judge is set to play a lot of center. Obviously, center has a lot more wear and tear, but having Grisham is definitely going to help alleviate some of that.
That's probably what the idea is versus lefties, Judge and right, Grisham center, Soto left. That's probably what the idea is versus lefties, and then versus righties, obviously like Judge center, Soto right, Verdugo in left.
Yeah, I agree.
Another thing to note, he walks a lot.
Grisham.
92nd percentile in walks. So that is good. And let me...
Kyle Schwarber light.
I was thinking Joey Gallo light.
Well, being worse than Joey Gallo is hard.
Did I mention Verdugo's defense?
No.
He's
fine. Yeah. I don't think he's anything special, but
nothing special. Last year he had a 95 graded arm strength.
Nice.
They
like that.
They grade him as like average, but I've seen him make some great plays.
Yeah.
I'm not really that worried about him in the field. I think that'll be fine.
I think you should be. Yeah.
Let me see. I think I got everything on them.
Mm-hmm. One thing I thought about while you're talking about this,
go on.
For Verdugo's oppo doubles, obviously I don't expect you to have this on hand, and it's going to take way too long to look into it, but something I would like to know is how hard were those oppo doubles hit?
Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, how hard were they hit? Because obviously the wall stops the ball. Obviously in Yankee Stadium, that's not the case. So if it's hit hard, maybe it's not going to be as much as an issue as you think. But if it's kind of like lightly hit, like just touches the wall, then yeah, sure, it's going to be an issue. But that's something I'd like to look into, which I probably will.
I tried looking up how many doubles he would have outside of Fenway.
Yeah.
Like, I tried looking that up, but I couldn't find that anywhere.
Right.
The only I feel like you could find that out somewhere with, like, launch angles.
I'm sure.
Or you could watch because you know how you could watch the hits on Baseball Savant?
Yeah.
You could watch every single double if you really want to.
Right, just...
I'm not watching 37 doubles.
I will, for the sake of stats.
Time out.
We'll be right back.
So, Nick,
no.
No. Yeah,
I'll update you guys on Twitter. I'll figure it out, I swear.
37 thread.
Yeah, exactly. But, no, I think lots of good moves I like from the Yankees. Pissed that I feel like they didn't give up much for Soto in my mind. I like Verdugo. I like Grisham. It just lengthens your depth, which I think was sorely lacking last year.
Billy McKinney was hitting third.
Right. Instead of Billy McKinney, you have Verdugo. Instead of Franchi Cordero, you have Trent Grisham. Which...
Instead of Willie Calhoun, you have Juan Soto.
Yeah, exactly. So, sure, are they going to be league average? Yeah, but it's better than having guys that
With
are going to
upside.
be right. It's better than having guys don't bring a lot of upside and are going to
Not good
be
defenders.
in that
Billy McKinney was
Yeah.
a solid defender, but
that more below average threshold.
exactly.
So upgrades all
raised-
around, and
You significantly raise the floor,
yes,
and you significantly raise the ceiling too.
yes,
And keep in mind, they both can just be stopgaps till Dominguez comes back in July, August.
right.
So that's another thing to keep in mind.
So I like what they did.
I do as well. I didn't like it at first, but actually going into the number, or like with Verdugo, I didn't like the trade at first.
You just don't like him to begin with.
No. I just don't know how a guy with like a grill on his teeth, is that what it's called, a grill, like the
Yeah.
golden grill on his teeth, is gonna work with the Yankee.
And 5 chains and a bushy beard.
That I just don't know how that's gonna play out with like the media and like
Yeah.
the whole like history and like
That'll be fun.
that's what I'm like.
That'll be fun.
The personality scares me a bit. How that's
Yeah.
gonna like. I'm hoping that it's more not necessarily an act, but just one of those things of like he has sweat.
He puts up a show.
Yeah, like
It's
he gasses
entertaining.
it up to like entertain and all that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the type of guy he is. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But
Time will tell.
time will tell. So, did you see that the Yankees were the betting favorite for Cody Bellinger?
After all this?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense. Where's he going to play?
This was according to Bet Online. I'd say they're relatively credible.
Yeah.
Like they're relatively big.
Sure.
The Yankees were number 1 with plus 125. Giants plus 250. You ready for this one?
Uh-huh.
Mets number 3 plus 700.
No.
The Cubs weren't even in the top six.
No.
So technical difficulties.
Sorry about
Nick
that.
was just saying no.
Yeah,
no.
Mets stay far away from Bellinger because he's going to want a lot of money. And he's going to be a little above average.
To do with that, there were reports that, who knows, but and this came out after Soto, these reports that Bellinger told Boris he wants to be a Yankee.
I did see that.
And that Cashman wants him to be a Yankee, but he doesn't like the market. So there were theories that, like, yeah, he could just wait it out, and if no one gives Bellinger what he's asking for, they'd sign him in.
Swoop in.
Which I wouldn't have an issue with, depending on the contract.
Just where would he play?
Well, I think that they would flip
Verdugo in that case?
or Grisham, one of them.
Yeah.
Flip one of them for pitching in a package.
That would be interesting.
Which I wouldn't hate.
No.
But just
Odd.
I saw
But
yes, because I just saw the betting odds. I thought that was very interesting to me. I was like, what? Like that just didn't make sense to me, especially with the Cubs not being top 6.
Yeah,
Mets
definitely.
being 3.
yeah.
That just I figured I'd mention it. Something to keep an eye out on.
No, thank you.
And then someone that you will say yes, thank you to, is Yamamoto Yoshinobu.
Yoshinobu.
Yes,
Yamamoto.
Yoshinobu.
Yoshinobu.
Yamamoto. He's meeting with the Yankees on Monday. Hideki Matsui will be at the meeting. There's reports that's coming out that he wants to play on the biggest stage. I think that the biggest stage, when we agree that New York is the biggest stage, I think the Yankees are a bigger stage than the Mets. You think it's even. I think the Yankees just because.
I just think at the end of the day it's New York, but I get it.
But it's also a thing of which team has more star power.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the history and like all that.
Yes, and the pretentious corporate. I understand.
Yes.
Mhm.
But yeah, there were reports that came out that Hal does not care about money. He's willing to just go full evil empire mode, just dish out as much money as possible. So I think that we are finally, officially, getting a bidding war between Hal Steinbrenner and Steve Cohen.
A New York bidding war.
Which
That's gonna be fun.
Is gonna be a war in the storm.
Yeah, really.
Thank God that we're not gonna be here most likely when he gets signed.
I know.
That is
Unless he signs within the next few
4
days.
days,
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be a war.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Ohtani? I mean,
There's nothing to talk about right now.
No, but it does have something to do with it.
I guess.
Yamamoto.
Go ahead.
So Shohei Ohtani, I cannot pronounce names today. Shohei Ohtani is it seems that he's down to the Blue Jays and Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's what it appears.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. My bold take is I wouldn't be surprised if the Cubs come and swoop him in just because of what he said about don't report anything to the media.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's down to those two.
Yep.
Is it confirmed that Ohtani's going to be in Toronto today?
The people are tracking flights right now.
Dude, I remember.
So
dude, it's.
I don't know, but
No one knows.
yeah, basically.
But yeah, so no one knows that. But the reason why it is important is that the Dodgers, it said that if they don't get Ohtani, they're going to be going like all in
On
which
Yamamoto.
everyone's all in on Yamamoto.
Right.
They're going to be like going as hard as they possibly can to get Yamamoto. I can see that happening. I also think, and there was like a theory I saw that like was interesting to me, that if Ohtani did sign with the Blue Jays, that he would want even more to go to the Yankees because he would want to face another like Japanese legend, and to like be like the best in like the culture and like the superiority like type idea and like all that. I don't know how much I'd buy into that.
Yeah.
Interesting to think about.
Yeah, I don't buy into that at all. But yeah, definitely makes things complicated if the Dodgers don't get Ohtani. Because then it maybe becomes a three-way bidding
It's
war.
crazy that we both want the Dodgers to get Ohtani.
Yeah, really.
Like
just so they can't go in on Yamamoto, but
yeah. Oh, you want to know what
time
I
will
forgot
tell.
to do?
What did you forget to do?
I completely forgot to look up. Juan Soto, versus the Yankees. Just to put in perspective, he has never played the Yankees when he was at home. So all of his games against the Yankees, his 9 games, are on the road. He has 5 home runs and 11 RBIs and a .310 batting average at Yankee Stadium.
Pretty good.
I really wish that StatMuse would tell you OPS.
Right.
Like, it's annoying that they don't.
Yeah.
How many walks that? Only 5 walks. Interesting. Just 5 walks is 6 strikeouts.
Ooh.
Oh. But yeah,
Cool.
obviously like sitting at Yankee Stadium. I'm sure everyone's seen the clip of him hitting the home run on Apple TV in the top of the 5th inning with a runner on and 2 outs. This guy's electric.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not gonna feel real until we see him in the press conference. Until we actually see him play games.
Yeah, but
that's
gonna be fun.
It's crazy. In a story like his, almost makes me have more confidence in Yamamoto, in the sense of Cashman is one of those guys when he finds like kind of like the guys he likes, he goes after them hard. Like that was him with Garrett Cole. That was him with Juan Soto, because he's been trying to get Soto the last couple of years. That was with Verdugo as well. I didn't mention that, but he's also been trying to trade for Verdugo the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's been trying to get Verdugo a lot, or he's been watching Yamamoto for a while. A scout or a Yankee representative was at every one of Yamamoto starts. He saw his no-hitter in person.
Right.
I like the Yankees' odds to get him. Just based off the stuff that I've been seeing, that Hal is going to literally go all in. He's going to fully embody George. I mean, I'm just more confident than I would have been last year or the year before that, just based off what we're seeing. Kind of like, then be like, yeah, we didn't make the playoffs. Fuck you.
You're a Yankee. You're a Yankee. You're a Yankee.
You're a Yankee.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I obviously have differing thoughts, but I could talk more about that in my section. But
yeah,
it's gonna be a fun story to follow.
Ooh, yeah.
But exciting times. Winter meetings did absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah,
Besides
Soto, which even was like, should we talk about the holdup on the deal? Where literally for 24 hours, people were saying the deal is being finalized. The deal is being finalized. It's down to medicals.
Right.
For 24 hours.
Yeah.
And just...
That was annoying.
You thought it was annoying? You thought it was annoying?
Yes. But it happened. We're here.
I was worried it was going to... I'm not even saying this to, bash the Mets. I think I was worried it was going to be a Correa situation.
That would have been funny.
There was something in me that was, making me... Just because, that happened. It was last year, right?
Yeah.
That happened so recently. With that, I was like, no.
Yep.
But yeah. Got nothing else?
I also have nothing else.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Triboro Podcast.
No. We have Queens. It's not as exciting, but we're going, okay? Whether you like it or not.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, fine.
You
We're
good?
using your Metro card. You're
Yes.
swiping twice.
I already have one. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Good.
I got it.
Good.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you in Queens.
Woo!
Now entering Queens.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Queens. As you can see, we fixed up the lighting for you guys. But besides that, nothing's happening. Nothing.
The
Nothing.
palm of the
Nothing.
power of the sun's in the palm of my head.
Yeah, honestly. It's like, you can see my hand. Those watching on YouTube get a better view, but I'm...
Yeah, he's trying to grab my hand or my head.
Whatever. Anyways.
It is weird.
So Queens.
We don't claim him.
Mets. Last year, winter meetings. Let me just set the baseline, right? Winter meetings last year. Justin Verlander. Brooks Raley. Crap, who's the last one? Jose Quintana.
One of
This
those
year.
is a Met.
Yeah. This year. Well, actually two. But regardless, this year. Nothing.
Hey, you made some moves.
Michael Tonklin.
There we go.
Some people say it's a split contract. I saw some major league contract. Regardless,
It's cheap.
bullpen guy. I
Yeah.
think it's like a $1 million deal.
Okay, me.
Sick.
Me,
Yeah.
Me.
This happened last night, so not really winter meetings. But I'll get into the more winter meetings. But we're talking about depth here. We're talking about the actual moves. Jorge Lopez, who was an all-star of the Orioles in 2022, and then had a 5.95 ERA in 2023. Life comes at you fast.
Didn't he play for 3 teams last year or something like that?
Something like that. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Regardless. Reclamation project, I guess. He's reuniting with his WBC pitching coach, who is Jose
God, that's a
Rosado,
stretch.
which is the Mets bullpen coach. So
And a stretch.
he was good in the
I'm messing
WBC,
with you.
but
Yeah, Minnesota, Miami, and Baltimore.
Miami, that was the other one. And then a couple more minor league contracts. Was just pitchers, this other guy. It was all bullpen guys, right? And going off the Rule 5 draft, the Mets picked right-handed pitcher Justin Slatton,
Yankee legend.
and then instantly traded him to the Red Sox for a left-handed pitcher,
Right, that was
Ryan
the guy that was the Yankee
Amons.
prospect, right?
No idea.
Oh, I thought the Mets drafted a Yankee prospect.
That was
Whatever.
last year.
What's the name?
Justin Slatton.
I'm gonna need you to
SL.
spell that.
A-T-E-N.
A-T-E.
Slat-E-N.
Got it.
Dumbass. Can't spell. I don't think he was a Yankee prospect.
Who? I could have swore that.
Last year they took a Yankee, who then didn't really make the cut, but whatever. As you look that up real quick, they traded him to the Red Sox for a left-handed pitcher, Ryan Amons. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. And, all right, cool. The only notable thing... Rangers, yeah. The only notable thing about this is I believe now the Rule 5 rules don't apply. Because if they kept Justin Slatton, I don't know. If they kept him, they would have had to keep him on the 26-man roster for the entirety of the year, or he would go back to the Rangers. But in this case, because he was traded to the Red Sox are now on the hook for the Rule 5 rule. And I believe they just get to keep the guy they traded for. So it's kind of like...
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Right. You basically free up a roster spot, quote unquote, and then you get a controllable arm. So, makes sense. But that was really it. Not much happened at the winter meetings for the Mets. Obviously, the Yankees stole the show with the Juan Soto deal. But...
Wait, they got Juan Soto?
They did. We talked about it. Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it more.
No. But it was just a lot of bullpen depth pieces And Stearns has made it very clear that he's prioritizing run prevention. Obviously, that means pitchers. So he's having a lot of minor league guys, a lot of
Does that
split
also mean
contract
defense, or
guys,
does that mean just... Okay, sorry.
a lot of split contracts, a lot of minor league contracts, just to keep the bullpen open, which he said it's pretty wide open. Because the only guys you have set are obviously Edwin Diaz is coming back. You have Brooks Raley, and you have Drew Smith. That's it.
Really?
Everything else is up for grabs.
Is that 3 or 4 names? I didn't...
3. I'm the
The
D.
D.
But besides that, run prevention also includes defense. So Stearns made it clear that they're looking for a defensive-minded center fielder. Now that doesn't mean they can't hit for shit, but obviously a defensive first center fielder. Not Trent Grisham. Not than that. Some names that were connected to the Mets, most notable, I guess one of the more notable names was Michael A. Taylor.
Cody?
No. Michael A. Taylor, who last year with the Twins had a pretty good year. 21 home runs, a 720 OPS, solid. Fantastic defender at center field. 94 percentile in outs above average, 87 arm value, 90 arm strength. Pretty damn good.
It's very rare for someone to be that good at all 3.
Right.
Very rare.
Yeah, like either you're really good defensively and your arm kind of sucks, or you have a good arm but you kind of can't really have a good range. But the kicker, and this surprised me.
He's a kicker?
No, this is the kicker. A 602 slugging percentage against lefties. He had a 915 OPS against lefties. And everyone knows the Mets cannot hit lefties. So I would not mind if this was a move that was to be made as a kind of fourth outfielder / platoon type. But who knows?
Your everyday outfielder against lefties.
Basically. But who knows what Taylor's looking for. But I would not mind that whatsoever. I think that's a really good fit. And obviously, something Stearns made clear is he would like to get Nimmo some time off of center field. So having a good defensive center fielder who can either be a defensive replacement or just take up the center field spot for an entire game would be great. But some other names that were connected, Jung-Hoo Lee, which you talked more about for the Yankees.
Love him.
Yeah. I don't think he really fits there anymore.
But that's constructed.
Yeah. Everything I've read, he projects better as an everyday corner rather than a good defensive center fielder. And I'm not sure, I wouldn't mind, but I think there's better options seeing how the roster is currently constructed. He is a left-handed bat. He doesn't bring a ton of power. Obviously, we talked about him a little more for the Yankees. But he's more of a contact bat, right? So
that's why I wanted him so much. It's because the Mets
Right.
and the Yankees are literally inverse
Opposites,
teams when it
yes.
comes to their offense. That's why the reasons I wanted him so badly is the reasons you don't really want him.
Right, exactly. He's a contact guy. He's a lefty. We need a power bat that's a righty that kills lefties.
Honestly, has Jorge Soler signed yet?
No.
Sorry if I just stole your thunder. But
No, you're good. But no, he has not. And as far as I know, the Mets haven't really checked in on him. They should. But regardless, and then the last one that I saw being thrown around was Harrison Bader. No thanks. He's really just
I think it depends on the deal, but
I guess I think he gets hurt too much. He would just be a fourth outfielder here. I don't really not really a big fan of that one, but again,
I mean, because if it's a thing between him and Michael A. Taylor, at least you get the upside with Bader. Or there's points where he's gonna be god awful and he's gonna be hurt, but when he gets hot, he's incredible.
I think Taylor's better. I mean, 602 slugging against lefties, give me that.
Well, I'm saying overall as a player. For the Mets, probably yeah.
I would say
It'd be Taylor, but I would say overall, I think Bader brings more upside.
I
But
beg to differ. He's never really had a stellar offensive season.
well, I'm just saying for what he is, he will overall the numbers will say he's league average. There'll be times when he sucks, but name a good you could name 3 great defensive center fielders that are good hitters.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? So it's almost like catchers where you'll deal with the lumps because when he's on, he will win you games.
Yeah.
It's just like the positional value and all that, but that's
Yeah. I don't like him as much as obviously you do,
Mm.
so I wouldn't want anything to do with that. But
I don't think on a cheap deal it wouldn't be that bad, but
not for me. Not last, but more into roster construction, whatever you want to call it. Stern said third base will be solved in-house, so that means Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio, probably not Mark Vientos. I don't think they really want him on the field, but Brett Beatty and Ronnie Mauricio sound like they're going to get their shot at the third base job, which I think is the right way to go. I don't think you should be signing, well, the only other really third baseman on the market is Matt Chapman. You shouldn't be getting to a long deal with Chapman. A few years ago, I would have said differently, but seeing the way things are playing out, you got to see what you have in these guys, these young guys. So you can't block them and not give them a chance.
Their value dipped since they were prospects just because like they didn't perform as well as people expected. So it's a thing of you have to either ride out with them or trade them right now, and I think it would be bad. It would be poor roster construction to not ride out with them.
Yeah, definitely. And it would be selling at probably
That's
their
the
lowest
exact reason
value.
why it would be bad roster construction because you're selling low.
Right. So I think that's the right move. And second to last, before we talk about bigger picture, as of right now, there has not been any extension talks with Pete Alonso. I don't think that's a big deal right now. Judging by your body motions, I don't think you think so either. I think they just have a lot more on their plate right now, obviously. They got to fill out the roster before they can really talk to who they have about an extension.
Oh, this is last year.
What?
This is last year under contract?
Alonso?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he had 2 more years.
No, that's why there's a whole big
I thought
thing,
he had
buddy.
2 more years.
No,
bad.
that's why everyone's blowing this up. He's a free agent after 24. But again, they need to fill out the roster. I don't want to say they don't have time, but
It's
they have
also
other
Boris.
needs.
They don't want to deal with that headache right now.
Right. So they have other needs before they can talk to Alonso about an extension. Now, lastly, our favorite person to talk about, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yes.
Obviously, the Mets are still in on him. He's the number one priority by a long shot.
Mhm.
And it came out the other day that Cohen and Stearns flew to Japan to talk to Yamamoto. Said the meeting went well. Whatever. It's just a kind of introductory piece, I guess, to the Mets. Like, hey.
I was just checking Twitter about Ohtani, just see if it would help, but go on.
No. But the Met with Yamamoto, he's obviously their number one priority, and he's probably the Yankees' priority
Number
now.
one.
So I wanted to talk about, what do you think a contract is going to realistically look like with this many suitors?
It depends on so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Because the reason I mentioned Ohtani is I mentioned in Bronx that if he signs with the Blue Jays, the Dodgers are going to go all in on Yamamoto.
Yep.
So if he goes with the Dodgers, I think the contract's going to be less than if he were to sign with the Blue Jays, just because more bidders, more whatever.
Drive up the price.
I think that it's going to be like, because like I'm seeing some people say it's not going to be 300. I think it's got to be over 300.
I think it's going to be
when you have the
300.
Yankees and the Mets both negotiating on, and they are currently the two most willing to spend that much money.
Yep.
Maybe the Dodgers, whatever,
Right.
whatever. So, okay, if anything, that helps my point.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good bit over 300, like 330.
I agree.
I think it's going to be like 10, 330.
I agree.
I'd give him more than 10 years. I'd give him 11.
That's just...
I would.
I know.
I think that's what you're going to have to do, though. I think you're going to have to give him the 11th year.
Yeah.
Would that be like 11? I could see like 11 through 50.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah. That doesn't sound... It's the years.
For a guy that's never thrown an MLB pitch.
I know. And he's going to be probably the second highest pitcher. I doubt he breaks. Because Cole's still the highest paid.
He's going to break
Well,
Cole.
not highest paid, but like
Cole's
overall.
324.
Yeah, he might break Cole then.
He's gonna
He's gonna-
especially if he gets that 11th year.
Yeah, he's going to break the MLB record for a starting pitcher
in
without
years
throwing a pitch.
and money
Without
by 2
throwing a
years
pitch.
and well, it depends because if Cole's opt-in and all that.
Yeah,
so,
yada,
like,
yada,
wh-
yada.
But
As it stands.
As it stands, I'm pretty sure he would beat him on years anyways if he did get 11.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Overall money is just insane. And again, he's 25. So
that's why you're giving him this many years, this much money.
exactly. It's just, I know we talked about this off camera a little bit. For me, it's hard to swallow giving a pitcher 10 plus years just because of how pitchers are, obviously, because just
Tommy
they're
John.
right, the pitching and then the stress on their elbow or their shoulder or whatever, and plus coming over from Japan, that adjustment period, it worked well with Senga, but everyone's different. But yeah, I think personally my max would probably be around like 10, 315, 320.
My max
something like
is
that.
10, 321. 320 and $1.
For some reason, my max just went up to 10, 325. Weird.
All right, we're gonna do this for hours.
But that's basically how this is gonna go.
I'm not worried about him. That much. Like obviously there are concerns, but just from what you know about him, hasn't he won the Cy Young 3 years in a row?
Yep. All with sub 2 ERAs.
Isn't it also? Is it also? Did he also win MVP?
I'm
Pretty
not sure. I
he did.
think he did.
He won the MVP and Cy Young in 3 straight years in Japan. Who produces some damn good players, and the people that are concerning out of Japan are like more concerning than not are power bats and guys that pitch to contact. But guys that have strikeout stuff and guys that have contact, or that hit for contact, those are the type of things that translate. Shocker.
Right.
The 2 people that I really want this offseason.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried, like, at all.
Right.
And I can't remember if we talked about on camera or off camera about this, but I don't think him going from a 6-man rotation to a 5-man is gonna be that big of a deal.
Okay.
Because like you were saying, Senga, he was 30 when he came over here.
Yeah.
Did he ever end up going into a 5-man? Like at any point down the stretch?
Like 2 or 3 times, like the entire season, he
Okay.
pitched on regular rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yamamoto's 5 years younger.
Yep.
He has a lot better health. Not necessarily better pedigree, but I think he's just a better prospect overall.
Definitely.
So I think it's one of those things of he will, especially over a 10-year contract. So what if the first year it's a 6-man? Like you have to have like a stopgap.
Right. Yeah.
You're doing it for the long haul because 25-year-old pitchers that are of this caliber do not reach the market.
No.
They never are on the market. You don't see a guy come up at 19 years old and reach the market at 25 years old. That's why I don't care about the money. For me personally, it's like you may never see something like this again where it's a 25-year-old pitcher on the market with that pedigree.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you do whatever has to be done to get them. And ultimately, I think both the Mets and Yankees are going to do that. But it's going to be a fun bidding war to watch. Yeah. You get them on Thursdays. I get them on Tuesdays.
We get them in October.
Yeah, well, that's a discussion for another time. But I also want to talk about, because obviously you have to talk about contingencies, and obviously the front office has to think about this as well. What do you think an offseason plan looks like with the Mets missing out on Yamamoto?
I think you get 2 guys, and I think it's harder now because Rodriguez signed.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say I would point right to him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know you don't want to give Monty as much as he's doing, but I think you almost have to overpay a little for that. Let me look at. I'm trying to also think of righty starters that are on the market, just because I know you said you didn't want to like overdo it with like too many lefties, which I would agree.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I know there's Lucas Giolito still out there. Jack Flaherty's out there.
Didn't
Mike
Flaherty
Clevenger.
sign, or am I stupid?
You're dumb.
Okay.
Mike Clevenger's out there. Michael Wacha, which we already tried that experiment.
Waka.
There's guys, but there's no top of the line guys.
There was a guy that I was thinking about that I'm curious what your opinion would be if, say that the Mets did something like this.
Okay.
They traded for a pretty good starting pitcher. Whatever, I don't want to say like Cease or like,
Burns.
no, I'd say Cease because I'd say he's a tick below Burns.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then
fair.
sign Clayton Kershaw.
No.
No? Why not?
Kershaw's out half the year.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you forget about
I
that?
forgot about that.
Yeah, he had surgery. He's
Okay.
not pitching until much later.
Okay. So you don't want anything to do with him?
Kershaw?
Yeah.
No. I also don't think he would sign with the Mets. And
Mhm.
I'm kind of over the whole, hey, let's sign the 35-year-old
36.
Hall of... Whatever.
I'm just.
Yes. The wrong side of 30 Hall of Fame tracked pitcher. We tried that experiment. I'm over it.
I mean, it worked with Verlander. It's just you guys weren't good. You know what I mean? Like the Verlander contract, I'd say worked out.
I guess. It's hard to say it worked out when he only pitched 10 games.
But he was great in those 10 games.
He was fine. Not $43 million. Pitched to a 3.5.
I thought it was a little lower than that.
That's
No?
fine. Yeah. But I'm over that experiment. And I also don't think they trade for a starter.
Mhm.
I think they, for the most part, they keep the farm intact unless
Oh, I got
unless they get a
perfect name for
Cease.
you.
Unless they get a Cease who has multiple years of
I
control.
got a perfect name for you.
And I'm going to hate it.
Rich Hill.
He was already met. Move on.
44 years old. Rich Hill.
Perfect. We tried the high 30s and the 40s. Let's try the mid 40s.
Mid-40s.
We just keep going up. Why don't we? You know what? Adam Wainwright, come out of retirement. Let's go. Let's run
so
it
how
back.
about- you want to do a little experiment?
Yeah.
I'm going to rapid fire. List off some names.
Okay.
Say yes or no. If there's someone you want to go in depth in, cut me off.
All right. Sure.
Because I have a list of like all the free agents. Martin Perez.
No.
Julio Urias.
He's still suspended.
I know.
So
point
no.
stands. Seth Lugo.
I wouldn't mind it. I'm not sure if there was mutual interest because I know the Mets didn't see him as a starter. They didn't want him to start, so I'm not sure if there's any. I know it's basically a new front office,
Mhm.
but I don't know if there's any bad blood there. But I wouldn't mind him as a back end guy.
Somehow 29-year-old Lucas Giolito.
I would look into that. I wouldn't mind it. I would actually like it because at the very least, you are
upside.
getting innings from Lucas Giolito.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, there is upside. Before this year, he was one of the better starters in the AL, maybe even in the league.
I don't want to say, wasn't he a Cy Young candidate like a couple years ago?
Yeah, right? Like 2019, maybe? 2021, something like that? Ooh, I'm so sorry. I hit my mic. But I'm going to sneeze.
Cy Young candidate in 2019, 2020, 2021.
Ooh. Excuse me.
Cy Young 6, 7, 11.
Right. So there's not, I don't want to say Cy Young upside,
Mhm.
but there's upside regardless.
Last few years almost had a 5 ERA though. That's the
That's
the
the
issue.
downside. But again, he's pitched 180
A lot of
innings, 175.
outside of the COVID year, and not including the first 2 years because he only played 6 and 7 games.
Yeah.
It is his lowest inning count is 162. Other than that was 173,
Yeah.
and that's in like about 5 years of work.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I like the fact that, he will take the ball every fifth day, and I think that's something the Mets need.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they do sign Yamamoto, I think Giolito should still be on the table. I wouldn't
Mm.
mind like a 2-year deal, but I think he will probably end up getting more.
Michael Lorenzen.
Not really.
No, I'm not gonna be able. I've never been able to pronounce this guy's name.
Oh boy.
Tyler Molly.
Oh, Maui?
Mally.
Well, I mentioned him a couple of episodes ago, but he's missing majority of the year coming off Tommy John.
Mhm.
But
So
I
you
wouldn't.
want no interest in guys that.
No. I will say that a 2-year deal, paying him for rehab essentially, and then looking towards 2025 for an impact, I'd like that.
Okay. Klubat.
No.
Carrasco.
No.
Sean Manaea.
I would like him in like a swingman role. Like not necessarily an established starter, but a guy who can give you
starter / bullpen.
right, a
relief.
guy who can give you innings out of the bullpen and you have a double header, some guy needs extra rest, you slot him into that starting spot. I wouldn't mind that. I think that's basically what he did for the Giants too.
Reunion, Noah Syndergaard.
No.
He was way up higher on the list. I skimmed him over, but let's have some
Right.
fun. Marcus Stroman.
I don't think Marcus Stroman wants to come back. I don't want him. I hope the feeling's mutual. But
Jake Odorizzi.
maybe.
Matthew Boyd. James Paxton.
Maybe. I mentioned him a couple times.
Brad Keller, 28 years old.
He's a free agent. Ooh, I don't know about that one. Yeah.
I think this one right here is a very interesting one. Hyunjin Ryu.
I think that falls into the category of
37.
He's 37.
I did not. I thought he would have been like 33.
Yeah, I thought he was much
probably,
younger.
'cause he got posted.
Right,
So it's
right. But that falls into the category of the reclamation projects. The James Paxtons, the Giolitos, the Flahertys, guys like that. But I wouldn't mind that per se.
I got two 29-year-old pitchers.
Jack Flaherty.
Oh, Eric, because you already talked about Flaherty.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
Eric Lauer and Chris Flexen.
Chris Flexen, the Mets had for 2 seconds. Well, the Mets had for a few years. Then he was gone. Then they had him for 2 seconds. He was gone again.
That's why I lumped them together.
Yeah, Eric Lauer, back end guy. Whatever.
I mean, he has nasty stuff. He'd probably play better as a reliever.
Maybe.
But,
Yeah.
Any hope that Chad Kuhl could have better numbers away from Coors?
No, I don't think so.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Unless you like fried chicken, because then you get Madison Bumgarner.
No, I'm all right.
Julio Teheran.
No.
No, Eric Fede already signed. Yeah, that's really it. Other than
it's thin.
Jack Flaherty's 28, by the way.
28.
That's great. He's a guy I wouldn't mind the Yankees giving a flyer on, but go on.
Yeah. But so you think they'll pivot, is what you're saying? Overall.
What do you mean?
Like they miss out on Yamamoto, they're gonna pivot to a Montgomery or someone else.
I think that if they don't get Yamamoto, they'll say it's $33 million, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more likely that they'll spend about $40 million over 2 pitchers. Whether that be like 25 for Gumby and then like 15 for Giolito.
Right.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah. If they miss out on Yamamoto, and this is not going to be a popular answer.
Let's hear it.
I don't want to say you kick away 2024, but you're not going all in. You're signing 1-year deals, 2-year deals, not even. You're going to sign
a lot of veterans that will be on other teams.
Yeah, I think so, because I don't think the Mets will, and I don't think they should, quote unquote, overpay for a Jordan Montgomery or a Blake Snell long term, because I don't like their trajectory, especially Snell. I've never been a big fan of, but I don't think it makes much sense to put them up on a long-term-ish contract. So I think the best move is to maybe spend elsewhere. 1-year deals pitching, then you can sign a couple. Excuse me. You sign a bat or two, but overall, I don't think they should really be doing a whole lot if they miss out on Yamamoto.
Can I say something about the 2024-2025 starting pitching class as it sits right now for free agents?
Sure.
Shane Bieber, Walker Buehler, Corbin Burns, Patrick Corbin, Anthony DeSclafante, Nathan Eovaldi, Max Fried, Kyle Gibson, Tyler Glasnow, Andrew Heaney, Kyle Hendricks, Merrill Kelly, Yusei Kikuchi, Jordan Lyles, Lance Lynn, Sean Manaea, Nick Martinez. Freddie Peralta has like an option to like opt out. Which it's an $8 million. They're gonna take that.
Yeah, probably.
Nick Pivetta. Robbie Ray can opt out if he wants. I don't see him opting out.
Neither do I. But
Chris Sale has a $20 million club option. I wonder what the Red Sox do with that.
That's exciting.
Max Scherzer.
Hey, bud.
Mike Soroka, Matt Strom, Ross Stripling.
Right.
But you get the point.
The list goes on and
Zach
on.
Wheeler.
Bring him back. Bring him home. I think the Phillies probably lock him up long term, but I wouldn't mind.
Why are you nodding your head? You want that. Our roommate Evan's in the back. I'm saying, no, he said he thinks the Phillies lock him up. Yeah, you want that.
I want the Phillies to get him.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our roommate Evan was like shaking his head like violently, like no.
No, but I was saying I think the Phillies lock him up long term.
That's what he's saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyways.
The Triboro Podcast is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Evan, no. But yeah, that class is a lot more.
That doesn't even include guys that could be traded.
Right.
Or-
I think that class looks a lot better than what we currently have to deal with. I don't think there's any Japanese pitchers or any other free agents really set to go out next year, at least not off the top of my head. So I think it makes more sense to kind of see where things go in 24. Let the kids play, bring up some pitching prospects like halfway through the season, see what they have, things like that. Because I don't want them spending for the sake of spending. If you don't think you can reasonably compete without getting Yamamoto, then you shouldn't.
Okay. Yep.
But
the only thing with Montgomery is that would be a longer term deal.
right,
So it's not-
that's the issue. I think that's the issue.
I feel like that would help though. If you say you're not competing this year,
Right.
I feel like he would be a guy that could help you next year or the year after that.
Right, but then you lock him up already, like for the
No, it's fair. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
that could also be the thing of, like, it's not like you're going to sign an entire rotation. You guys already tried doing that. And how did that work?
It worked out really well for 1 year.
But that's the point
Yeah.
I'm making. Then you tried it again. It didn't work. So it's like,
Right.
it may not be that sustainable. And I think that if you guys were to go that route, you better lock up Alonso, like, now.
Right.
Like, as soon as possible, just because if you have to deal with Scott Boras when you're also trying to deal with other people, like,
Yeah.
that are also represented by Scott Boras, I think that's just such a headache that the Mets do not want to deal with. That
Definitely.
if you are going to do that plan, you better lock up Alonso, like,
Definitely.
soon.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, talks, I think, would speed up more when the roster is quote unquote set.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
there's no rush to do. I'm making it sound like
No.
you got to do it right now.
right.
No, there's no rush to do it. But if I'm the Mets, you got to get that done before next offseason.
Definitely. But yeah, that's really all I have. The Mets
Pete
Kinda
Lonzo
quiet.
appears headed to the Toronto Blue Jays.
for Bo Bichette.
I was making a John
I
Hayden
know.
joke. I was just saying, like, free agency.
Oh, yeah.
Pete Lonzo.
John Soto. But
Juan Soto appears headed to the Yankees.
the Mets are moving in silence. It's been a pattern recently with the new Cohen Mets that
Yankees fans cringe at that because the amount of times you've heard Cashman moves in silence, and then he trades for like some random reliever no one's ever heard of that gets DFA'd a day later.
sounds about right. But no, there's not a lot of leaks. There's not a lot of rumors. Some people don't even attach the Mets to Yamamoto.
That
John Morosi, what are you doing,
I
man?
think that
You're
the
having
Yan-
a really
I think
bad
that
week.
The Yankees have like a little bit of an edge. We could disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think they have a little bit of an edge over the Mets, but to say they're not in on him is possibly it's if Ohtani goes to the Dodgers, it's either the Yankees or the Mets, and it's gonna be pretty damn close.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
say if a team's willing to spend $300 million plus on someone, they're in on him. Like, what
Yeah.
do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. But there's not much going on, Stearns is doing his thing. I know a lot of people are waiting for the big move. Obviously, the Yankees made theirs so far. But people have to keep in mind that this roster is not at the point where you can rely on depth just yet. that's why the bullpen is basically being reconstructed from the ground up with all these minor league deals and split contracts and all these, more or less value guys. So there's a roster to be filled before you can get the big guys.
And also a question too. Outside of, and even then this was a trade, but outside of Lindor, what was the last time Steve Cohen locked, I know Nimmo, but that was more like bringing him back. What was the last time he went out and got someone and signed them to a long-term deal?
Like out of free...
has he done that?
What do you mean?
I'm saying trade or sign someone in free agency.
I mean, the longest contracts is...
Because I know Lindor was a long...
Yeah. Nimmo, what you said, they brought him back from free agency. Diaz brought him back.
I'm not saying there's a thing he can't do, but it's just...
The biggest moves have been, the short-term high AAV deals because of the amount of money he has. It's been the Scherzers, it's been the Verlanders.
So it'll be interesting to see if he would be willing to go high AAV on those long term. That's just something that crossed my mind. Do you think he would? That's something that he would be as aggressive with his money on longer term deals.
I don't think he would go out of his way to fly to Japan if he was not all in on a guy like Yamamoto.
Okay,
that's where I see it. And to a point, I don't think there's a lot of guys that necessarily fit the Mets that would have been a long-term deal.
Yeah. Granted, this third off season. Honestly, because Lindor was his first move, right?
Yeah. So
that's
21.
This is Lindor's third year, right?
Yeah.
Or is it fourth year?
This is his fourth year. This is going into his fourth year.
So it's fourth off.
Basically fourth off season. So. Who knows? There hasn't been a lot of long-term contracts handed out yet.
Like I said, something that crossed my mind.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's definitely something to wonder. You know? But, yeah, again, I don't think there are too many fits for, the long-term deals. But it will be exciting to see what goes on.
Now.
Yeah.
Judge, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. But how I don't think there was any serious interest there.
I mean, they also how.
They tried for Correa. There's that.
Correa, yes.
Right.
Yes.
They tried for Correa, but obviously that fell through.
But even then, that was more
That's it.
Someone else kind of did all the negotiating for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He pretty much said, we'll give you the same exact contract, just with a little bit different opt-outs.
Right. But that's it. So it'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
To see this unfold. But that is all I have. Not much going on, but
I got nothing.
All right. So, congratulations to the Yankees once again for landing Juan Soto. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X/Twitter. I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter. I don't think I can get that through my head.
My phone's not updated. The Twitter app's not updated. So I'm not updating it, so it stays as Twitter.
I tried doing that, and then
mine's
automatically updated overnight.
Mine's not updated, baby.
But regardless, we're on Spotify and YouTube, so subscribe to us on YouTube. But with that being said, thanks again, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.